Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to the first ever episode of Bluegrass Blitz, brought to you by 1505 Productions. I'm Isaiah Phelps, the head graphics designer.
I'm Dalton DeBoard, head videographer here at 1505 and founder of 1505.
I'm Brody Hodges, and I do the research for us, boys.
I'm Colin Hamilton, and I'm just kind of the everything here. I do whatever.
And I want to give a big shout out to our cameraman, Jordan Albright. He's obviously working the camera right now, but I want to give a big shout out to him. And he's also our head editor for our series. So, boys, what have we been doing today on this beautiful Saturday?
Well, this beautiful Saturday we've been out here golfing, having a good time, out here in the Bluegrass. Bluegrass, one of the best states for golf. And just been a great day.
Mm-hmm. So we decided, a little sneak peek into the second episode of We Are Rock. We're going to begin at golfing. We have Hunter Pingleton, Colin Phelps, National Drive Chip and Putt champ Connor Ford made a guest appearance. Yep. Bowman, Bowman made it.
Logan Bowman.
Yep. Brody Hodges.
Brody Hodges is your intro tee shot.
Yeah, man. I made it the cut for once, but yeah, we had a few technical difficulties and stuff. There's a cart crash. I don't know how that happened,
but it's all good.
It's all good, man. Okay, so
nothing broke.
Nothing's broke. We still got our camera. We're great, but hey, we decided. Who was it that came up to me a couple weeks ago wanting to do this podcast?
Well, I mentioned it, and everybody just came along, and it's kind of going to work out.
Right now we talk about the state of Kentucky basketball and stuff. Things are really hot right now. There's a lot of things going on in the college scene and also in the high school scene. And Rockcastle athletics obviously is a big thing right now. I think, in my opinion, our athletics have been in the best shape it's been.
The resurgence.
Yeah, the resurgence. Best we've been since probably the early 2000s. We're really doing good. Softball won a district championship last year. First time in school history, Rockcastle Golf won a region championship.
And district.
Yep, and district championship. And we made it to the state championship. We got the KHSA flag back there. Really good accomplishment. And then with head coach Zach Gentry, he's really made a heck of a program.
I'd also like to give a shout out to our senior Jake Cromer. We won't have him next year.
Man, he won the region championship this year, and Smoke Ford came up runner up in the region. And kid's not even in high school, and he's doing that good in the high school region. And obviously football this year, man. You guys made a great run. We got head coach Chris Larkey back. You guys won the district title for the first time since, 2017?
No, so we hadn't won in forever. I can't remember the exact year.
Either 2016.
16, 16 was the year we won the district, but we had not won a second round game since I think it was around 2006 area.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was big to get that monkey off our back. And, Coach Larkey's came in. I've been around the program for a lot of years with both my brothers playing, my dad coach and all that. And, I mean, there's no hate to Coach P. I love him. But, I mean, you could just feel it shift whenever Coach Larkey got hired.
Speaking of hires and how they can change the culture, what do y'all think about Mark Pope?
That's a tough one, man.
I think we kind of rushed it. I really like him, though. He really hasn't won anything, but he's lost the first round of the tournament with BYU in the 2021 season, and 2023 season is the only times he's got into the tournament, actually.
This will be his 9th year as a head coach.
Yeah. He started at Utah Valley, and they started with 12 wins when he first got there, and they jumped to 25 wins in the 18 and 19 season. That's a huge jump from a program that just got really going.
Oh, yeah. And, talking about Cal, man, he left us at a really bad time. He left us right in the middle of the
transfer
portal. So we lost a lot of good guys, man. I mean, our whole lineup, we're still trying to get Reed back, but we're going to have to rebuild a lot next year. Whoever the coach is, and we have to have a strong recruiter, number one, and a guy that can keep the morale high going into the next season. It'll be rough.
Talking about with the landscape of college basketball right now, and part of the reason I think we moved on from Cal is it is hard to win now with these young one and done players.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean you got to work the transfer portal heavily. And we got to hear on this TV that we took a tweet talking about how Mark Pope is supposed to have 2 guys transferring here that he couldn't get recruited to BYU, but they want to come play for UK this year with him.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Mark Pope, his offense is a very, very modern offense. No offense to Coach Cal, but Coach Cal ran a lot of just inbound plays and just very kind of, in a way, not old school basketball, but kind of a hybrid. Mark Pope this last season shot more threes than he did twos for the entire year of his offense. And it'll just be kind of unique to see that take place from a team in the SEC.
Mark Pope, like Phelps was saying, Mark Pope loves to run a run and gun offense that shoots a lot of threes, but his defense has kind of struggled.
Yeah.
And just like we wanted to move on from Cal because his defense sucked.
Yeah.
And I want to see if he can really improve on that.
You know, I mean, when you look at things like, okay, Alabama, for instance, had a great offense just like Kentucky. Defense sucked. Both of the defenses were not playing that good that day. How many points was scored in that game? I think 117 for Kentucky. I know it was in the hundreds. But, you know, whenever Kentucky would put it all together and get that defense going, man, we were unstoppable. We should have been a Final Four team this year. We had the best recruiting class. I mean, absolutely amazing, but just really struggled, man. But I think getting Cal out was a great decision. But I think the time that he left was a horrible, worst time.
Yes.
And then that obviously put Mitch in a really bad spot. You know, you got to get a coach pretty quick.
I like to give out. Everybody hates on Mitch, but man, he did a good. He tried his hardest to get. He tried his hardest to get Dan Hurley, and Dan Hurley didn't want to go, but I just like the hire of Mark Pope.
He listened to about every fan's list of names that was out there. He tried at least.
Only thing with Barnhart that I don't like is he was a big Cal guy, had him forever, and then he finally realized Cal needed to leave, and I think he got a little paranoid, a little nervous, and pulled the trigger too early.
And I think nobody talks about Rick Pitino. Okay, do you got that Coach Larky's tweet that he put out? We gotta show this, man. It's so bad.
Here, I'll pull it up here in a second. If I remember it correctly, it was
about White Castle players.
Coach Larky talking about how we would not be getting any McDonald's All-Americans. We'd start getting them from White Castle.
No, Coach Larky, big shout out to him. Helping us a lot out with 1505 Productions.
There it is. His direct tweet: no more McDonald's All-Americans. We now get White Castle players. We might get a few from Crystals and Jack in the Box.
But I like Mark. I think Mark Pope will bring in a lot of seniors, and like Jackson Robinson that played for BYU last year. He entered the transfer portal as a do not contact. So I have a feeling he'll follow Mark Pope here. He scored 25 points in the first round of the Duquesne game, and he could be a great addition. One thing I like about Mark Pope is could really help us. He played with Jeff, and they say that he's already been in contact with Reed.
I'm just not just playing with Jeff. They were roommates in college. If I do know my facts right.
They won a national title together.
Yeah, they were part of
they
that,
won the national title together. They got a bond, but man, Jeff's a great guy. But I hope Reed stays.
Yeah, I do too. I really like to see how he could excel.
Their roots are in Kentucky. Me personally, I think they can lose the whole roster and Reed's going to stay.
I don't think Reed's staying.
It's very controversial.
As much as I'd like him to stay with the position he's in, I don't think he's going to have any chance any other year to get drafted higher than this.
Speaking about, we're talking about Mark Pope's offense and defense stuff. I pulled up some of the Ken Palm ratings here, and offense, basically the same with us. But his defense,
top 5, top 6.
His defense is worse than ours. Right now.
He's got to improve if he's going to come here and really help us.
You got to remember too, he did this offense without the name Kentucky basketball or the recruiting ability of Coach Cal.
Yes, that is right.
He did this with a lot. No offense to his players, but a lot not less skilled players, star-wise, talent-wise.
He really can't get stars at BYU. Listen, when you come to BYU, you have to make a commitment to make a 2-year missionary trip at BYU. Did you know that?
And one of the other things I've
like
seen,
a Christian type.
Yes, you have to make a 2-year trip as a missionary.
another thing
Like
I've
to where?
seen.
I don't know the exact spot, but I know you have to make a missionary trip.
Let me ask this question: where's BYU even at?
Utah.
I mean,
Something else I've seen was the academic requirements are a lot higher for
Yes.
BYU. So you can get some of these guys that, they don't want to go super hard in school, but they can come here and play basketball for us.
BYU, they destroyed my March Madness pick. I
yeah.
think, because we was sitting in
I
our
was sweating it.
we was sitting in our 6th period business class, and we were watching March Madness. So Miss Castle, I love her. She lets us all watch. Just took a day off just to watch March Madness. I love her to death. And Brody here about punches the screen. He's like, my bracket's screwed, man. But anybody here that knows Brody knows he gets a little mad from time to time.
Just a little feisty.
He gets into sports.
Yeah.
That's why we got
Gets
him on the
into
show.
it by he thinks he's a player.
Going back on Rush and the Mark Pope hire, do you think we should have stayed and waited on Billy Donovan?
I think we should have given a little more time, tried to convince him to come here, because I think that would have been a better hire.
Billy Donovan, he coaches the NBA, so I have a feeling he can coach college players. He won a national championship back-to-back with Florida in 05 and 06. He went to a Final Four in the 2013 season with a 36-3 record. I mean, that is a great...
Talking about him going back-to-back, he's the last coach to go back-to-back until
Dan
UConn.
Hurley.
Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
And that just happened,
Yeah, until UConn this year.
I like the guy we got, because this is the thing about Pope. I'm putting a lot of faith in him because he is a blue blood at heart. I mean, if you watched his recruitment,
Oh, he loves it.
He put on his old jersey whenever he won the
On
national
BYU's floor.
Yeah.
He hit it at
I mean,
BYU.
you could tell he's all in for it, but it's just just wondering about his coaching skills.
Pope's also been around modern college basketball. Speaking of Pitino, speaking of Billy Donovan, he's been out of college basketball for this entire decade and most of all of the 2010s as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
with the way the NIL money is and stuff. Now, speaking of another thing, NIL.
Yeah. And if you look at
lot
things
different.
like college sports, I mean, think about Nick Saban. When he was a college coach, his record as a college coach is the best of all time.
Yeah.
But his NFL record, not so much. You know what I mean? Some guys are built for college and they're built for that environment and the recruiting process, and then some guys are just not built for that.
I saw a graphic on Twitter yesterday. Will you pull that up, Colin?
What?
The one from Sam Block.
Oh, yeah, Harold.
He mentioned that when Calipari was at Kentucky went from John Calipari 33 conference championships, 57 NCAA tournament wins, 6 Final Fours, and 1 national championship, to a Mark Pope that has 0 conference championships, 0 NCAA tournament wins, 0 Final Fours, and 0 national championships. So we're making a big jump to someone that don't have much accolades.
It's a leap of faith, but you got to remember these guys that we wanted so bad, like Nate Oates, Dan Hurley. They were not a John Calipari when they first took their jobs. Everybody has to start from
Nate Oates
somewhere.
pretty
Everybody
made
has
Alabama
to
a basketball
At one point, there was a
Yes.
point where John Calipari had zeros all across the board.
Yes,
You look at him
that's
now.
true.
You have to get your first stuff. You just got to get it.
And I really like that because, like I said, the guy's got a passion for it. I think he had a bigger passion than Cal ever had.
Talking about that also, looking at this, the first reply under it, talking about how Calipari since 2020 has 1 tournament win.
Yes.
Has lost to 15, 14 seeds.
Now, don't get me wrong. Cal back in, when did we win, 2012?
2012, yes.
Yeah, 2012.
And then, didn't we, when was the
then
undefeated season?
He went
till we lost
undefeated in 2015.
15, I believe.
Until we
with,
lost them, what, the
Carlton.
elite, was it the
We
Elite
went
Eight or
Final Four.
Final Four that year.
And if he'd have,
That would have been the greatest
Yeah.
college basketball team to ever.
Yeah.
yeah,
Be
the
assembled.
guy's he's a good coach, but I don't know what's going. There's something going on behind closed doors. Like I've heard rumors that he's been talking to Arkansas for 2 months before this even went down, and he would have been still in the regular season for
But
college basketball.
The new meta of college basketball is transfers and
Money.
older
Yeah.
players.
I mean, Nick Saban.
Look at Connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody anymore, you have to be older to win. You can't. Freshmen will get you somewhere, but they're not going to win.
They're not gonna
big
get you
games.
titles.
Freshmen will get you regular season wins. They won't get you tournament wins.
That's right.
And it's just Nick Saban put it like this pretty much. The reason Nick Saban, he would have probably coached for a few more years, but the main reason he left Alabama, So obviously his recruiting process, absolute legend of recruiting. I love Nick Saban, greatest coach of all time, undisputed. I think.
Yeah.
So
I think so too.
So obviously Miss Terry, his wife, they would invite the players over to their house, have dinner with them, invite the parents. They would actually say, "Hey, your kid might not be the best player his first 3 years here, but I can promise you, senior year, I will develop your kid into a #1 draft pick."
Yeah.
I mean, that's how college basketball used to be. And he said after he lost the Rose Bowl to Michigan, kids slamming helmets, and then it's the recruiters on the phone. He would talk to the kids that you have coming in, like Isaiah Bond, for instance. He left for Texas. It was, what can you do for me? How much money can I make? And when can I leave? You know what I mean? That's all college football, basketball, everything.
All it's turned into now is, am I going to start? Am I going to get NIL deals?
Yeah.
That's all they care about now.
That's not what college basketball, football, any kind of college sport at any level should not be like that.
You know what? I have a lot of sympathy. I've had some struggles in liking Rick Pitino, just some of the stuff he's done controversially.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's a big scandal.
I love how he offered to give us NIL money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's awesome for you.
I think Mitch passed up on a really bad opportunity, somehow, to get him from St. John's to here.
We could have probably given him $4 million and he would come.
He would have been a great layover coach until we could get that next big thing.
Oh, yeah. And let Rick Pitino finish what he started.
Yes.
I mean, Pitino, he was I think the first guy to go 30 minutes down the road for Kentucky and then go win a national title at Louisville. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the guy's a great coach. He's very controversial, but
Very old.
He's very old.
But I like the idea of doing what they did with Coach K in his last years, of you pay an assistant big money to get him to stay and have him learn under a good coach who's kind of old, then retired and take over.
And Pitino fits that.
Yeah.
Pitino and Pope. Well, not Pope, but who's the other guy?
Ulyss or Rondo that they could have hired.
That would be a perfect duo, in my opinion. And I think Pitino could.
I think Pope can be the next big thing, though, so I'm not too worried about it.
I'm not too worried about either. I just think the way safer route would have been.
Pope's a very basketball smart guy. Speaking
Pope
of
is your shot in the dark.
talks so much. Pitino's posted a video just talking about how great Mark Pope is.
Yes. I don't have the graphic, but Dick Vitale said that Mark Pope would be great for Kentucky.
I think he's a shot in there. But if you got a guy that everybody was wanting to hire, which is Pitino, approving and saying, hey, we need him on the job, you know what? I'm not against it. I think Mitch made a good call. It could flop. You know, I mean, you're taking a big gamble. But at the same time, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah.
We might lose a few guys, but I feel like if we take the next 1 or 2 years to rebuild, we'll be back at the Final Four.
Yep.
I think Kentucky's fine.
The only thing that happens, and it's partly why a lot of fans are, outraged, is we're blue blood. We are not a team that wants to rebuild.
We want to win and win now.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky basketball, your expectation is a national title or bust every year.
Yeah.
I think it was Boogie Fland. They asked him in an interview, and they said, how do you feel about all the stuff that the fans have been going crazy over Cal? And he said, Kentucky is a blue blood, and they want to win, and I feel like it was the right thing.
Talking about players and stuff, what they think, is, do y'all think that Wagner is going to transfer out? Because I could see him going somewhere like Memphis, where his dad played under Cal, and I could see just a lot going on with him. And there's been reports that people think that he is going to transfer out.
Going to the Kentucky recruiting and transfers.
One big player I'd like to see is if we could keep around Big Z. I'd love to see Big Z with the Mark Pope offense.
He will run it great.
So
I
has
think.
there been any word on him?
No,
I've not heard nothing about him. Yeah,
There was this thing. I actually never
smart.
got to watch it, but it was signed with him, Reeves. A bunch of them were on like a call, or like an Instagram live, something like that.
I've watched a little bit of that.
a little thing though. For Big Z's most recent follow on Instagram was Arkansas Razorback basketball, and going in so the players we have that Jaden Quaintance, okay, decommit, okay, He was only 16, so he has to stay 2 years at Kentucky. So, and him transferring out, he played great defense. In the McDonald's All-American game, he looked like a beast out there, and he's only 16. Going into Carter Knox, he decommitted. His brother played at UK, Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox was a great player for us. He's turned out kind of iffy in the NBA, but he showed some flashes of being pretty good. He's a slower player, but he's great at scoring. He don't play good defense. I want, as a Kentucky fan, I want to see us improve on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't you all?
Yes.
Then I would love to see Somto Cyril come in here, and he decommitted though.
Yeah. I think great things, but what else we got to talk about here? We get stuck on Kentucky topics, man. We talk.
Moving on from college, like probably more the high school level.
Let's talk about Rockcastle.
Local sports.
So, one of my graphics is Rockcastle baseball struggles. They've been through a little rough patch. I mean, but there's
coach.
It's a new coach and
A lot of injuries.
Yes.
Phelps,
Myself, yeah.
Coming in, they're 2-12 is their record. Their average loss of a game is 8 runs. They've lost seven games by run rule, and 6 of the 7 games has ended in 5 or less innings. They've had 9 straight losses. Landon Reppert is the leading batter right now at an average of .333 as a senior.
Cam Smith, he's got a 286?
286 as a freshman.
Speaking of freshmen, this team is very young, freshman heavy, which we're going through a rebuild right now. The youth on this team is just crazy, and I think we're going to be so good whenever these guys just mature a little bit more, because that's all it is just getting. Because you got to remember, these are 15, 16-year-old kids playing against 18, 19-year-old kids. Just the amount of time you have to develop and stuff between that time is crazy, and once we reach that same age, we're going to be just a force to be reckoned with, and not just the 12th region, but the entire state.
Yeah, and I don't really know the new coach that well, but you can tell he's got a passion for it.
Oh, Coach Brent Lovell, he loves Rockcastle.
He does love it.
Give the guy a couple of years, I think we'll be back in a
He loves
really good
coaching
spot.
baseball. He played at Eastern Kentucky University. Did very good there.
Has he ever had a coaching job before Rock?
And not just before, he's a brand new. He's just not learning how to coach.
He can improve over the years.
Yeah.
That'll be a good.
I think Rockcastle's the perfect place for a guy like him. I think.
Yeah.
He's got a really good place. We got a pretty good facility. We got a lot of support. I think he'll do just fine. And the players, like you said, young team. It gives him a long time to get a bond going, and it gives us a long time to get better and better. And then as you look in the regions around us in our district, they're losing more players. Guess who's on the uprise? Rockcastle. I think we'll be a contestant.
So you're talking about this year. I pulled up our Max Prep stuff. They have us listed at 170 in Kentucky, but they also have us with an 8.2 strength of schedule.
We have a coach level very
played last year's
schedule.
state champions.
Opened up and stuff. Very strong schedule we had to play this year.
Currently ranked 13th in the 12th region.
In the 12th region, you have 2 of the top teams in the state, being Pulaski County and Somerset, to go against a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rock softball, last year coming off of a district title. We got senior Ella Bussell.
Ella Bussell is leading the team in home runs right now with 3. And she's batting over a .350.
And then, we got Macy Spivey.
She's hurt. She won't return.
Speaking of people, softball's had injuries as well. Every sport has had injuries. It's bad.
Two. One of their main players, Haven King, is a senior this year, and she got hurt, and she'll be out for the rest of the year. Talking about Macy Spivey, she got hurt, and
both of them in basketball.
She was great at basketball, great at softball. She led the basketball in region points per game.
And whenever we had a lot of injuries also with girls basketball, and Macy stepped up to the plate and she carried her weight. She picked up a lot of the weight.
I want to give a shout out to a sophomore on our softball team, Kylie Dunaway.
Oh yeah.
She has 2 home runs and has a batting average on the line of .350.
Oh yeah.
She has a bright future.
Out hitting her boyfriend.
Yeah, out hitting her boyfriend.
Cam
Yeah, that was kind of a shot at you, Cam. I'm sorry.
Hey, we'll have Cam Smith and Kylie Dunaway come on the podcast sometime. They might fight you. Cam might fight you now.
We'll have to have a 1505 boxing match.
That might be something I'm all down for. Our possibilities are endless with this. We're just trying to see where this will go.
No, we love you, Cam. We're having a good time down here.
But also talking about, we got spring ball coming up, and I'll be out there filming this week. We're going to start filming for the second episode of We Are Rock. And we actually, like I said, we just started today, but we got spring ball coming up. You guys want to give us a little, just a little talk? These guys are here. Phelps, long snapper. Collins on what position do you?
I play a lot. I play center, guard, tackle.
We both snap.
But just give us a little preview and stuff. How we're looking going into just this season, spring ball.
I'm feeling good, hoping to see some people develop and get better this year.
Yeah.
I had to see what we have. And, spring ball, great time to see people. You start first 2 days, just no pads, just doing some drills, see people's footwork, speed, all that. But then that third practice, whenever you get the pads on, that's really when you learn what people have that year. You learn how good they can block, how well they can hit, everything. And, it's just big to get to see that early.
Yeah. Rehabbing. It's a time I'm going to be spending this spring rehabbing my hand and stuff so I can get back snapping again. And it's just been a nagging injury at me since about February, just all the stuff I've had to deal with this thing, and I'm just ready to be able to get and start working, practicing again, get ready to have a good season.
And obviously I just started filming with you guys and stuff, and I want to give a shout out to Coach Larkey and all the coaching staff for letting me come on. It's a really great experience, and what we're able to do here with Rockcastle County
The hospitality
of
the coaching staff.
And coming off of last season, we're losing Tucker Warren, absolute dog of a quarterback. I think, who was it, Coach Saylor might have said, I think I heard this at the banquet, said he might have been one of the best, if not the best quarterback we've ever had.
Oh, yeah, going to play college football at Mount St. Joseph, and I think he'll do great things
and
up there.
And that's a great small, what is D2?
I believe it's D3, and then one of our D1 commits, Christian Larkey.
Oh, yeah.
Going on to play EKU.
We're excited for him, man. We'd love to have all them guys come on.
Played great through a nagging foot injury from about the district championship all the way to the end of the season.
Talking about last year, man, what a season.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was fun as a fan, as a Rockcastle fan, to get back, and the attendance was back.
The stadiums were
great.
packed, and it's the first time I've seen them packed in. We was packed. It was region championship first time, 17, 18 years?
Yeah.
Chills, man. And, when we beat Lawrence County, oh my gosh, it's storming the field. I was the first guy to get on the field. And I remember grabbing Alex Smith. I said, "You're a dog."
I want to give a shout out, though, to a senior, Caleb Moore. He had a great season this year.
Caleb Moore switching from quarterback to wide receiver.
What a duo between Tucker and Caleb Moore.
Isaiah Jackson was a great.
Isaiah Jackson, a sophomore with a very bright future. He's actually next weekend he's going to Arizona State, I think, to take a visit.
Yeah, and then I want to give a shout out to our kicker Benjamin Brenda.
Oh, our great, just a great.
There for a couple weeks on. He was ranked #1 kicker in the state of Kentucky, and we lost a lot of guys. We still got Benjamin. We still got Isaiah. We're looking for getting a good quarterback, but I think we got a lot of picks, and I'm not going to get much into that. But
again, my special teams brothers, they're just great. Brody Dunaway is going to be filling in the shoes of Anthony Gooden at punter this year.
But I think we lost a couple guys, but we're still fine. I like to say like this, like I told me this. We lost guys, but everybody else in the 47th district has lost guys. Mm-hmm. Everybody's rebuilding. Bell County, it's a big topic. They lost a lot of guys too, but I think right now the state of Rockcastle County sports, we're fine.
Yep.
I think we're on the up and up, and it's growing year by year. And we want to thank you guys. Well, there goes my alarm. Well, we want to thank you guys for coming on for the first episode of the podcast, and there'll be more to come. Thank you guys. We want to thank
you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys.